All right. So, what's new in your neck of the woods?
Well, a lot of new things. I have a nice setup because I moved to Cyprus and finally not on the road constantly, so it's easier to have a good setup for recording, working, life in general. What about you?
Very cool. Yeah, not much. I've been on this like health kick lately, just like working out every day, trying to be healthy, getting my cholesterol down, all this stuff, you know, as one does after the holidays.
Yeah, yeah, the big old holidays when everyone ate a bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, like all of us were so tired because like the kids, they're staying at home, couldn't go to kindergarten. Like we had to take care of them for like 2 weeks. It's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, big news on our side is we've come up with a name for SPP rebrand, and we're not gonna reveal it right now, but maybe we can talk about like the considerations we had for what had to be a good name for us, and this sort of thing. Because yeah, I think like whenever so as part of the research, I went through our customers, like looked at their websites, their branding, their positioning, all of this, and it is a problem with so many agencies where it's just like not clear. You know, it could be their branding could be better. Ours could be better as well. So we're all suffering from this. So now, since we're in this part of the journey, maybe we can share what we've learned or thought about.
Yeah, biggest issue is good luck trying to rebrand at the end of 2025 when every good term is basically taken. It's already hard enough for some kind of client portal to find a good brand name, but then everything we looked at was already taken. You couldn't get the .com domain. It was super expensive. We didn't want to settle on .co and .io again, so that was one big point we tried to make.
Yeah, I think like I've seen so many apps now that have a cool name, but they don't have the .com, and maybe the name is like too cool, where maybe, I don't know, call it Momentum or Foundry or something like crazy relevant and a cool word, but there are so many other things that are called this word that it's impossible to find. And that was a big consideration for us as well, that it had to be unique so that we don't have this issue with SPP where there are surprisingly so many SPPs out there.
It's surprisingly a very common abbreviation in every country on the planet, so it's not one you want, which is why we did a lot of research trying to see what are if the word shows up in any other country, right? Because you never know. It could be already a brand in some country, which will make it difficult for us to rank number one. You might not get the featured snippet thing from Google. It's also not great, which we've been struggling to get, obviously, with SPP.
Yeah, and then like domain availability. So it has to be unique. It has to have the .com. And then we had a great candidate for that. Mainsail. Mainsail.com. The .com still available if anybody wants to buy it. It's not even that expensive. But it's too generic. So many other things are called that name. And also, it'd be kind of difficult to get the trademark for it. So now, like, if we're approaching this from a blank slate, we might as well pick something that lets us get the trademark, get everything set up, you know, do it properly this time instead of like starting with a .co. What else? Something we didn't think about. Social handles, didn't care too much about.
Yeah, I think social handles are an easy fix because you can just do whatever app or like you can still add something to the handle even if it's taken, but you can't do it to the domain. And also we wanted it to look good for clients because if they use it with our domain, right, like the username, then it shouldn't look too weird.
Yeah, like we had some options of like client hook, as I think was one of the considerations. And yeah, maybe like it's good for the agency to hook in the clients or whatever. But if the client sees that in the URL, they're like, oh, I don't like being hooked.
Yeah, you have to be careful that it doesn't look too sus.
Yeah. And a lot of sus stuff, a lot of like weird misspellings. So that was also a big consideration. Nothing that could be misspelled in a weird kind of way. Yeah. It has to sound like a word. So as part of the research, I was looking at branding agencies, lexicon branding, the big one. Liked a lot of the names they've come up with, and so like their kind of philosophy around naming is generally creating like an invented name that sounds like a real name that should be an actual word, but it's not. So it's unique and it's brandable. So that's kind of the direction we went with.
But you're also making it sound like we've settled on it in like 2 days, which is not true. It took a few weeks. And every time someone was hyped up about one, the other people were not. So it was a lot of back and forth.
It took I think it took like more than weeks. It took like a couple months realistically. When did we start like even thinking about this? And first of all, to go back even further, I think like you and I talked about the SEO issues like earlier this year even. And initially I wasn't even ready to consider rebranding. So it took a while to even like accept that, okay, this is going to be like, we have to do this. And then to pick a name, I think we went kind of full cycle from, okay, let's pick a straight descriptive name, like agency, animal, or something, some kind of, was it Agency Panda?
Service
one of the
Panda
things.
or something, yeah.
Service Panda, oh yeah. So, and then started looking into it more, realized, okay, we need something more brandable, less descriptive. And then like we got so tired of these like brandable invented names that we started going back the other way. And I think we landed on something like that's a good metaphor for the future.
Yeah. Also very surprising that AI does not help as much with branding as one might think. It always suggests things that already exist most of the time. Yeah. It tries to do some research, but then it doesn't do it properly. And it's like, oh, this is a great name. Then you research it and it's actually already taken by some dead app somewhere, unfortunately, which is also a risk. You could consider buying the app or the domain, but that also takes time.
Yeah, we were even fine with other things called in that name, as long as it wasn't another SaaS app, right?
Yeah.
we were even like pretty flexible with that. And yeah, AI, it just keeps throwing the same suggestions on it. It's either very literal or very obviously taken ideas. And it was difficult. And then I think at one point, I just used AI to go through the dictionary and bulk generate names. And the AI part of it was just evaluate each combination of nouns against lexicon standards. If this is a good one, add to list and generate like thousands of names, put them through the bulk domain checker. And that's how we, I think, found the current one. I think so. So difficult to remember. But it was a struggle.
Yeah. What do you think about the premium domains that we were looking at? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, we've found some nice, cool domains. And also, like, we had money to spend on this. The thing is, there was nothing good to spend it on. So, for example, I remember I really loved laserbeam.com as an idea. They wanted, I think, 90K for it, and could have been negotiated down probably. But then it'd be difficult to rank for still, so it didn't pass the uniqueness test. But yeah, I mean, if you're kind of not that worried about uniqueness, or you think, oh, I'm going to go so big everybody will know it, like Stripe, then by all means get the generic, or not generic, but get the premium.com, even though there are other things under this name. Maybe you'll like outcompete them all.
Yeah, I think the major hurdle would be just having enough money to spend on the marketing. If it's something generic like Laserbeam, and let's say even if you're like a design agency, you have to spend so much money to be known for it. And if you have like cool marketing, sure, maybe it works, but
well, somebody I talked to showed me this example of a design agency called dingusandzazie.com. That was such a great example of a difficult domain, but so unique. It sticks with you.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where most agencies are also struggling now with. They have like a very boring name, and now they just use the .agency domain name. So, I mean, it has to be unique enough to use .agency, because otherwise, how are people going to find you? How are they going to remember you?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, like something we realized with SPP is that the extension gets treated as sort of like a word of its own. So for example, like if you have SEO.agency and somebody searches SEO agency, that kind of fits with it, right? But if we have SPP.co and somebody searches for SPP company or co, that also is a thing. So it could be good and bad. Yeah.
That on top of all the misspellings like SSP, which is also very common for some reason.
Yeah, well, these are just letters, difficult to remember. It is what it is. It was what it was.
That's going to change soon, hopefully. Now we have to think about the technical side of things, which is a different kind of issue.
Yeah, true. So we're doing a big website overhaul as well, and working with a copywriter on positioning. So I've learned a lot about that as well, where it really matters what category do you put your company in. Does it compete with project management tools? Does it compete with CRM tools? Does it compete with client portal tools? That's the thing. And yeah, I think like so many agencies I went through, they just do it all. They're like the agency that does it all for realtors. At least that's a positioning statement. It's for whom. But yeah, honing in on that, what exactly makes it unique is, I think, huge.
Yeah, we looked at a little bit at some of the data, like how people found us, how they describe us. It's surprising because lots of people, they try to describe a problem, especially now with AI. They're like, okay, I have recurring subscriptions, the payments just fail. So what can I do as an agency owner? And then depending on what AI spits out, that's how they find you. Some people, they have a CRM, but they want something on top of it, like a client portal. So it's usually some kind of problem they're trying to solve, which is why I was never a huge fan of the descriptive way of saying SPP is this and that, because people describe their problems differently. So it might not speak necessarily to them in that specific moment, because it depends what kind of problem they're having right now when they find you.
Yeah, that's true. I think so. That depends on like I would say if you're in a mature category of like CRM tools, then you got to say this is a CRM tool that's better in this and that way, or this is an SEO agency. We do these two things differently, and that's what makes us unique. But then if the category is like not that well designed, then you got to think about problem or solution based positioning, where this is the solution to like you hiring people on Fiverr or Upwork and them turning out not being great and you losing money, stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's also good, like last time I talked to a prospect and they were describing exactly what they're struggling with. So they're using they're not using client portal. It's just like an internal tool developed for agencies that has project management with milestone tracking and all this stuff, but it doesn't have the billing that we have. So the client portal aspect is also missing. So that's why they're trying to get away from it. Like some aspect can be managed in, but they're now so big that clients can't log in. They can't manage subscriptions. So it creates extra work for them. So at this point, it makes sense for them to go to more of an all-in-one tool or almost all-in-one tool, basically.
Mm-hmm. So that's another kind of positioning deal where if everybody's saying it, it like doesn't matter, or I guess it's table stakes. So if everybody's saying this is an all-in-one, we cannot say it's an all-in-one, because like everybody's saying that. And if you can take copy from your website and put it on another company's website, then what's the point? Like that means like you're not really saying anything unique. So that applies to any kind of agency or SaaS or anything really. You gotta like hone in on what exactly makes this unique, so that if I were to rip off this copy on, like we know people have done on their website, then it's no longer true.
Yeah, they already copied the all-in-one aspect. Oh well, they love it.
I mean, there are like so many all-in-one tools, and the thing is, to every kind of customer, that means different things. So like people coming from high level expect that all-in-one means we include a website builder, which is like, why? There are so many great website builders that are cheap and great.
Yeah, you can't promise the all-in-one aspect anyway. Like it's impossible to manage. Yeah, every time we talk to someone, they have a different, as you said, like they have a different understanding of all-in-one. So for someone it's upsells, for someone it's building landing pages, the other one they want the accounting integration with Xero or whatever. So at this point you have such a massive product that integrates with everything that it's difficult to truly make it all-in-one.
Yeah, that's true. So somewhere I heard this thing where, as far as like positioning or websites, you gotta avoid CUB, confusing, unbelievable, or boring. And then when you say it's all in one, that's either unbelievable or boring.
Yeah.
What else did we learn from this whole mess?
Yeah, maybe the technical SEO side of things, but this is very technical, where you have to make sure that all the redirects are correct, the branding is on point. We have to test everything on staging before it goes live.
For sure.
Make sure every page is optimized and works correctly, especially since it's not just, okay, we slap a new brand on it and everything looks the same. It's going to be probably some new copy. Mm-hmm. We have to make sure pages don't break. And even with that, I saw it yesterday on LinkedIn. People talk about rebranding, that it takes like a hit for at least 6 months. So everything is going to dip until everyone picks up on the rebrand, which brings us to the other point of how do we promote a new brand, right? So that's also something we were talking about.
Yeah, for sure. We got to put some money into that as well. I wanted to go back to the redirects thing. There's one great thing that's going to come out of all of this, which is we can finally get rid of trailing slashes on our blog. Because back in the day, we were on WordPress and it has the trailing slashes by default. And so then we moved to Statamic, and then we had to like manually add trailing slashes to URLs. It was like such a mess. And then if we're redirecting, we could redirect without it. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, especially because the marketing pages don't have the trailing slash. So every landing page, every tools page, all the other stuff, the glossary doesn't have the trailing slash. So it's quite confusing. Yeah.
And Statamic is just not set up to work with trailing slashes. And if it was, it would probably be site-wide anyway. You'd have to enable it everywhere.
Yeah, I think it also doesn't make any sense. Like, what is the point of a trailing slash at the end?
I think it's for legacy reasons. Maybe it shows that you're in a directory. But if you're on a blog post, you're not in a directory.
Yeah, exactly. You're also at the end of it, so there shouldn't be a trailing slash, right?
Yeah, so as far as marketing, we're going to sponsor some stuff, spend some money on ads, do all the usual things, just maybe scale it up a little bit. Get some nice... So another thing we did is a little bit of like positioning test with display ads, where, okay, we're going to do like this kind of language and this kind of language and see if it resonates more with people. And yeah, I don't want to reveal the secret sauce, but I think like we understood something from that.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. And you did it with was it the retargeting group or was it the lookalike audience?
No, it was purely retargeting from our website. Yeah.
Is there an option to do lookalike in the Facebook ads?
The ones I did was LinkedIn actually, but yeah, I did Facebook as well. I did all of them, but yeah, you could expand your audience, and we actually have somebody working on our meta ads. Just have to like follow up with her and see what's up. It's these like stupid Europeans. They don't want to work. They just want to be lazy. They just want to collect money.
Just European problems.
Which is like both of us. But
Yeah.
That's the meme lately, yeah.
I guess that's the meme, yeah. I mean, that brings me to another thing, because we used to have freelancers for the blog site as well, for the copywriting, and boy, did I have a lot of issues with, like, you give everyone a very thorough way of doing things, they don't hit the timeline even, and the blog posts are not up to snuff. So that was always one thing that annoyed me a little bit about the freelancer side of things, because if they're not in your company like full time, there's no accountability, right? So worst case, they miss the deadline, and then I'm sitting there and I want to publish a blog post, so I had to write them myself multiple times, which is very bad when you're trying to scale and have like some form of content schedule that just doesn't go, because by myself I could not do everything. That's why we had some freelance writers. So now everything has been replaced by AI. I know people don't like it, but I think the internal tool I built for us is very good at replicating your and my voice, more or less, with some editing. Like, nobody can say Claude is just writing the full blog post from scratch. It's not, because I literally write it section by section with it together until it's done. So a full blog post takes me like 3 to 6 hours, depending, with images and everything. So it's like a corporation. Like, if you just one-shot everything, that's when you have the shitty blog post generated by AI. But if you do it step by step, it's basically as good as if I had written it myself.
It's the same with code as well. I found, like, never accept the first solution. Always like go into plan mode, ask it, specify, like give it all the stuff, and if you work it together, it's like it's great. It's like a junior developer who implements whatever you want in whatever way you want. So that's great. But when you're talking about the freelancers, it's I think so true, where the bar in like agencies or like service-based businesses is so low that if you do so much as to deliver what you promised in the timeline that you yourself came up with, then it's already amazing. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, which is also interesting, because if I don't know how agencies work with freelancers who would probably miss deadlines, or it depends how integrated they are in the agency. If you have like really 2-3 fixed freelancers who always get more or less the same amount of work, and they know they don't need extra work outside of the agency, then I guess it would be in their interest to also be on time to keep their part-time job, let's say. But if you have like this project-based agency going on where everyone just gets like a project and then they miss the deadline, then you're pretty much screwed. Then you have to explain to the client why the project is late while the milestones get missed.
Yeah, but you can like plan for that. And I think like from what I've seen, there's always like a manager kind of person who's able to step in and sort of like you write the blog post in the last second, or like cobble something together to save the day. You know? Okay, I've got another topic speaking of our whole rebrand, font. So I've been deep diving into fonts with Marta, our designer, and fonts make such a huge difference, where if you just take the number one top used Google web font and slap it on there, like we have on the current page, we use Inter, I think one of the most popular web fonts of all time, then it looks like everything else. And then if you look at some nicely designed SaaS websites where they have like, or even like, especially like branding agency websites or agency websites where they have a design team, you can instantly see that they've spent big money on these like boutique font foundries to like get really good high quality font families for their stuff. So this is like a whole, I guess, like industry of, if you think about it, that's not immediately apparent, and they license it based on page views. So like they're getting paid more from bigger companies, and I like to think of it as like just a couple dudes in Switzerland like sipping espressos, and like a couple hipsters, the traditional hipsters like doing these fonts and like making big money.
Yeah, the font business is interesting. Did you think about how we're gonna integrate it so it doesn't impact the speed of the page?
I think now that's like a solved problem. I remember we were using Typekit, now Adobe fonts, and they didn't have that replace swap type of deal. So you had to wait until the font loads to see anything. And like the modern way is to replace it with show the system font, but adjust the parameters so it takes exactly the same kind of space as your fancy font. And then when it replaces, it's like almost imperceptible, and it's a smooth experience. And Google supports that. And then if you buy these fancy custom fonts, you serve them yourself and you can like make it work. It's all doable. But I do remember issues from Typekit.
Yeah, because we had also layout shifts and all this nonsense. So that was very annoying because our page speed was not hitting the right metrics for a while. But then we figured it out eventually.
Yeah. And I think we figured out how surprisingly impactful it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's also jarring because I see it sometimes just surfing the web, especially on mobile. You're like loading a page and then all of a sudden like the title shifts because it breaks somehow. It's very weird.
Yeah. Funny thing about these design agencies or like font foundries, they don't follow any of the traditional marketing advice. They just treat it like a hipster art project. You go on their website, you want to buy like the font, and it's like their own imaginary navigational system that you haven't seen anywhere. So like you're not really sure where to click as like an internet savvy user, but it's all like very sophisticated. So this is funny. It's like it's a prestige kind of thing where you got to be a little bit artsy to sell it, similar to designers or architects, where you have to have the creative wrap around it to make for a better presentation.
Yeah, I'm also surprised how little they care about conversion optimization, because we were looking at their shopping basket thing and couldn't figure out how to go to the next page. So I'm pretty sure most people will just close the tab and call it a day.
Yeah, it's sort of like a thing for the people in the know. If you're in the know, you know.
Yeah. It's like the design agencies that have the vertical scrolling. It's like,
oh, okay.
Yeah. So always confusing when you scroll down, but it scrolls the other way.
It's the specialty coffee equivalent. You've got Google Web Fonts, which is like your easy whatever, Starbucks. And then you've got the specialty coffee that's like 10 times as expensive for no particular reason. Probably even, yeah.
Mm. Yeah. But actually, if we are thinking about it, the page they had is almost like some sort of order form that we have. Just very. It's a weird order form because they actually make you choose all the options you want. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going to use the font for ebooks, but I guess they hope people will just check the box and pay for it. I don't know. Or what happens if you forget about it, and they're not going to find out, I guess. I don't know if they have lawyers hunting you down because you didn't license the font.
Yeah. And so from what I've seen as well, is like to use the font as and like a logo is a tier higher price because they're like banking on big corps using their thing. Yeah. So very interesting kind of industry.
No.
But yeah, we're learning about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of conversion optimizing your funnel to death, you know, like using some of the old school internet marketing tactics, the one-time offer is back.
It's back. People have been asking for it. We have something that's a workaround, which basically redirects you to a custom page, and then they can click yes or no. However, it's not a true upsell because it doesn't add it to the same invoice. So you'd always have 2 invoices, 2 orders. It works, but it's not probably what people would love to have.
To clarify, our new system will also have a separate invoice, but the problem that we've solved successfully is when you subscribe to like a subscription and then you want like an add-on for that subscription. We don't want to create a separate subscription for the add-on. We want to tie it together in one subscription, in one bundle, so you can upgrade it at once or cancel it at once. So I think it's going to be pretty good and flexible. And then we have like stats on it, so you can see the percentage of acceptance on your offers. So I think that should be a win for most agencies. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't even try it. You know, just give it a shot, see if anybody loves it. And if they hate it, it doesn't even matter because they've already been charged. You know,
Exactly.
if they get mad and leave, they've already been charged. The project is already set up, you know, they're good to go.
Yeah. This also will probably solve this problem where I've seen some order forms that are massive. Like you have so many things on the order form, and they just try to upsell everyone in the order form. Like you first want to make people pay one thing and then upsell them, not confuse them with 50 different service rows, because I've seen it too many times.
Yeah, that's true for sure. Like, and it is true for like websites, for order forms, where you have to present the information that the person reading is ready to accept at that moment. So maybe like they don't know yet if they're gonna need this or that, and you could even like start the project and then see, okay, well, obviously you could benefit from this other service, so here's a link. I don't know, check it out. So yeah, I think that'll be cool. The other angle we are improving is the CRM stuff, with the ultimate goal being us using our own platform for our CRM needs. So that's how you know we will be diligent about improving that part, because if we use it every day, that means we see all the issues and we want to fix it and improve anything we can.
Yeah, let's not confuse anyone. We are using it every day anyway. It's just like customized. So there's some add-ons in there.
Yeah. We're using our stuff for billing. So any kind of subscription stuff that goes through our platform. And then also for support and order support. So yeah, that has been like so great, because we can see so many areas for improvement. And then even Stefan was saying how he's using the ticket summary feature through the AI agent. So you can ask our AI, hey, summarize this conversation. And it's like perfect. You take the conversation, you then feed it into AI and say, okay, fix this bug or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's really good for people who use the reopen order feature, where it's just like 2 years of conversations. At some point, you don't know what you talked about. Someone new joins and they don't want to read through 50 messages. So just use the AI assistant and ask it to give you like a summary of what was talked about.
And it serves as a good base on which we can build upon, add more MCP features and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's the big new thing. Most bigger companies, they have some sort of MCP server, like Ahrefs launched it recently. Like everyone wants to pull in their data and see how they can use it and talk about it. So right now you'd have to export all the data, and you can't export everything, obviously. So you export everything, then it's a bunch of CSV files, which the AI has to parse through somehow. That's quite difficult. So it would be nice to just have an MCP server, tell Claude, pull all the pending orders right now. Why are people not filling out the intake forms? Then you get a quick overview.
I do wonder how diligent those agents are about really pulling in all the data, because like it's essentially an API where you pull in, let's say, like 50 projects at a time, and it says, okay, there's like 10,000 pages available. Is it really gonna pull all of that?
Technically, you write the prompt and it should not hallucinate. I think I saw just this example where someone said that the Ahrefs MCP was hallucinating something, and they said that in the first version there were some issues, but they fixed them, so it should not happen. The other thing I would be worried about is that it runs out of context to load too many things. But I don't know if that's a problem in SPP. I mean, you can. If you have like too many messages and you're pulling too much info in one go, maybe it gets truncated or something. I don't know. We'd have to test it somehow.
I think the big use would be reporting, because like if you can pull your own invoices, the way like Claude works, there's no chance of hallucination if it doesn't directly process the data, because it will write a script that processes the data. And then you get the output of that script. So, like, you can check the code and see if it's like calculating exactly the way you want. So I really think that would be huge, because historically, building any kind of reports it's not the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with a lot of data. You have to like make sure nothing runs out of memory, even like if you have so much data. It's crazy.
True. Yeah, and even the reports can be wrong. Like if you mess up your own data, you never know.
As long as they're consistently wrong.
Yeah.
What else have we been working on?
Oh, we also did the invoice tagging. I mean, it's already live, but hopefully a feature people will love, because we've heard people want to organize their invoices. Especially probably people who are like white labeling and doing everything manual, and they have a bunch of clients and they can't really keep track of which invoice belongs to which client. Now you can tag every invoice with the actions menu. You can also filter in the invoices overview, so should be easy to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, this is for like people who are purchasing from the agency on behalf of their own clients, which is a surprisingly common use case. Because like our customers, the productized agencies, they have sort of these like they sell the components, right? The links, the content, the video editing, and then maybe there's like these more all-in-one agencies that like sell the whole project to the client for big money, and then they outsource the individual components to different kind of trusted providers. And for them, it's especially important to tag that, okay, these payments are for this end client and these are for this other project. So everything's kind of separate. And then, later they can see how much it costs, really. I don't know.
No. Yep, surprising. Lots of people still do it manually. We have the reseller module, but I guess for some people, it doesn't make sense to hook their own system into it, their own SPP portal, and then just sell it to the end client. Or they're maybe just more hands-off, so their clients would not manually order something. They just do it on a call and just give them a retainer or whatever, and then from there they just do everything manually.
That's like a legit concern of like, I've heard this a few times with talking with prospects as well. It's like, but my clients maybe will not log in. The thing is, they just go through the order form and they will already be logged in. They don't have to like sign up, fill out a registration form, confirm email, remember your password. Everything's so streamlined. They're in the system and they see everything that has to be done there. And thing is, like, they can still reply by email,
Yeah.
and manage everything the old school way, which I think is huge. So that's really not a great argument.
Yeah, I think people have to understand that you have to get them in the system, and then you can still let them email you if they really want to. But they can still get updates about what is going on.
Yeah.
For you, it's important that you can automate the rest. Like you can have webhooks, Zapier, make whatever you want to automate everything on your side and send it to the client. But if you don't have that system in place, then you still have to set up some other automation just to email the client, which is also ridiculous.
Yeah, essentially now that everything's moving towards automation, you need your stuff you need to have your stuff in an organized way, right? It's like if it's like a little bit here, a little bit there, then it's difficult to automate things. So this is kind of a direction we've been thinking of lately as well. If you're listening to this, our new brand is not out yet, but it will be soon, and I will be sure to let you know. You can count on that. I will be sending those emails.
Yeah, Chris will be live on LinkedIn, maybe just showing off the new brand.
Oh, that will be an idea. Okay, we're gonna think about that.
Right? Why not?
All right, very cool. Great chatting with you, Dan.
Great chatting.
Until next time. Yeah.
Yeah. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.